All right, Dave, and after a long, exciting wait for everybody listening, all they're here for is our Week 12 NFL picks. They listened to that whole podcast just to get to this point. Didn't realize they could fast forward. We're just going to go through. I mean, we don't really care about the spread. I know that makes some people angry and some people hate the spread, so they love us for that part, but we just go through, we pick a game, and we flip coins and see which side wins. But we're going to go through this starting with, of course, the first game of the week. One team getting screwed over by the schedule, and Detroit really also kind of getting a shaft of the schedule too, because Thursday night games are a disaster.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about the Chicago Bears at Detroit. What do you think? Who's going to win this game?
Mark, to steal a line from you, Super Bowl, Super Bears.
That's right. Super Bowl, Super Bears. Chicago wins. Trubisky gets to eat some. Well, he's not going to get to eat some turkey. It's not the Sunday night. I
don't think he gets the weird like 5-legged six. Or what is it? Because don't they keep adding legs to it now?
They probably
I think it's a mutant turkey.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wins.
Yeah, he wins. He's going to eat turkey at some point in the day. Washington at Dallas.
I got Dallas running away with it, especially after the Alex news. Like, there's just there's no good way in St. Redskins. Like, you're just not going to win this one.
Yeah, I can't really trust Colt McCoy. And I know Adrian Peterson's there, but so does Dallas. They know that he's there too, and they know
they
that
could have had him if they wanted
there.
him.
Yeah. But they know Colt McCoy is out there, and he's not going to be throwing the ball too much. So I'm going to go with Dallas as well. Possibly a more exciting matchup here than the last one. Atlanta at New Orleans Saints.
Heard you liked offense.
Yeah. Who doesn't like some good old offense?
I think the Saints continue to thrash the NFL. Like, this is just a tour de force, and Drew Brees just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, it's one of those you can't pick against them until they actually lose.
Falcons have just been disappointing this year too.
Yeah, which is surprising because they were a good team last year and they had just gone to the Super Bowl the year before that.
Yeah.
Not really sure what's happened since then.
I mean, they lost their entire offensive weapon was having an offensive coordinator who was incredibly revolutionary. Now he's successful elsewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, even last year, was okay year for him. But anyways, let's move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who we talked about earlier in this podcast, going to play the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this one because you brought up the Bills are actually favored in this game.
Yeah.
Which I feel is a total slap in the face to Jacksonville. And I'm hoping that Jacksonville comes out with a fire lit under their ass, finds some form of offense, and beats the Bills.
There you go. Going with the upset on that one, Dave.
I am. It's a bold call.
Upset of like 1% or whatever it is.
Still, bold call.
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Nice.
And it's a home game for Buffalo. They want to win it. Josh Allen was called trash, so this whole team is going to say, that's our quarterback. You don't get to talk trash about our quarterback.
Do I start LaShawn McCoy in fantasy? That's all I need to know on this matchup.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Not against Jacksonville's defense. But I still am going to go ahead and pick the Buffalo Bills on this one. And it's interesting here because I do think that's a motivating factor, but I also watch Jacksonville get kind of embarrassed in that loss.
Yeah, no.
And now the talk about trading Jalen Ramsey, it's just too much. It's too much to disrupt a locker room. I got to go with Buffalo. Who wants to win game number 4 and say, no, we are the better 3-7 team. Moving on, we got the Cleveland Browns going to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Who do you got? It's a tough one.
I'm praying the Bengals win this one. Look, they should be a better team than they are.
Yeah.
Their offense goes completely missing at points in time. Their defense is loaded. So I'm going with the Bengals. I think the Browns are a good team, which just sounds silly to say out loud in 2018. But
yeah,
Browns are a good team, but I think the Bengals have more talent. They're going to win it.
So the Cleveland Browns right now have this weird thing going on where they got rid of the head coach and the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
All of a sudden things are working. All of a sudden they can put some stuff together. Baker Mayfield, he's definitely a rookie. He definitely has things to figure out. But
is he exciting out there?
He is exciting. He definitely is. And I do like the Cincinnati Bengals. And I do think that they have the ability to squeak their way into a playoff spot if things go right. The unfortunate part is this defense for Cincinnati. They like to do a little something called give the other team a ton of points. And even though there's not an amazing offense for Cleveland, I do think that Cleveland can put up enough points to make a difference here. And I'm actually going to roll with the away team and go with this, the Cleveland Browns to get a win here. So got to roll with them. This is the first time I think I picked the Browns to win a game in like 10 years or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, for a couple years, they didn't deserve to be picked for a win, and they proved it.
Nope. Now we got the New England Patriots going to the New York Jets. Should be an easy one, right?
Jets. No,
Yeah?
I just like to say that. Patriots are going to kill them.
Yeah, you can go with the Jets to lose to the New England Patriots. I mean, like I said, should be obvious.
Tom Brady, going to do Tom Brady things. Like, it's funny, though, because like Jets and Miami always play New England well.
They
but
do,
like, it's just not in the cards this
divisional
year.
games, yeah.
The Jets just are a rebuilding team.
Mm-hmm. And they've got a lot of rebuilding to do. New York Football Giants are going to be going to the Philadelphia Eagles. What do you think?
So this is the weird one because I want to say the Eagles should win this one handily. Mm-hmm. But last week, as we saw, Eagles looked like hot garbage. Giants strung together some great offense. Saquon Barkley cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
I'm going for the upset, and I'm going Giants over Eagles.
All right. Like to hear it, but I'm going to have to disagree. Going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know they just got embarrassed in historic fashion.
Yeah, I mean, that was bad.
It was awful. This team does not look like a team that just won a Super Bowl.
They don't look like a team.
Yeah, really.
They got no momentum on offense.
Maybe they should put that Super Bowl MVP backup quarterback back in.
Ooh.
You know, at the very least, I mean, last week, there was no reason why Carson Wentz should have still
stayed
been out there.
the whole game. That was just an injury risk waiting to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Put the MVP back in there, Nick Foles.
Give the people what they want.
Exactly. But I got to go with the Philadelphia Eagles on this one. I mean, there's so many good pieces to this team that I hope that that's the kind of thing that kicks them into motion and says, hey, Washington's going down right now because of injuries. This is our time. If there's ever a time for us to get in there, it starts with beating the weakling of the division only because of their records. Don't get mad at me, fans of the football Giants. And we can do this and we can get this win.
Same sentence, except you replace Giants with Eagles now. You beat the weakling of the division, the Eagles.
There you go. They very well might be at the end of the season. Speaking of weaklings, we got I'm sorry, everybody. San Francisco 49ers going to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Bucks.
This is a tough one.
For purity's sake, I'm just going to say that the Bucks will win.
Okay.
Like, I think that one of their two quarterbacks will throw enough touchdowns that they will win the game. The 49ers have played really well without having their quarterback this year. So I don't want to discredit them. They're a solid team, but the Bucks just have a way with offense, and yes, they're going to turn the ball over, a dozen times.
Mm-hmm, of course.
Half dozen. I'll say a half dozen times. I'll be conservative. Half dozen times. But they will find a way to get that ball in the end zone for their team more.
It's interesting.
John Madden.
So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are favored to win this game handedly. I mean, 65.5% that they should win this game. Over and under 55. So this is going to be nice to watch. I mean, not a huge scoring game, but that's a good scoring game.
Yeah. Look, I love Kittle. Kittle's their entire fucking offense, and I love it because I have him. So, I like the team. They just... you need a quarterback. I'm sorry.
It's tough because both teams have some injuries. Neither team is, doing well. San Francisco 49ers have not won a single away game this year. With the backup quarterback, it's just too hard to pick the 49ers, even though there's really not much about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that gets me excited.
Love them. No.
You just kind of have to roll with them.
They air the ball out.
Yeah.
Give them credit. Their offense is throwing regardless of who's back there.
Exactly. So you got to roll with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then moving on to Seattle, the Seahawks going to Carolina to play Cam Newton, who had a little bit of a scare this past week, but he'll be out there. And this is another one that I think is going to be a difficult one to call. Who do you think is going to win this game?
Oh, I've got the Panthers.
Clawing up.
Gotta
claw up.
I forgot that's your catchphrase.
That's not mine. It's Carolina's.
Do they know that?
I don't know, but if they want to listen to the podcast, they know. Then we're all about clawing up.
I'm clawing up. This is a fun offense. I forget which announcer referred to them as the Pop Warner offense. Like, you've got the quarterback running everywhere. You've got random wide receivers, tight ends, finding openings. You've got trick plays. You've got everything that makes football fun is the Carolina Panthers right now. The Seahawks are good. I am constantly unimpressed by the Seahawks. They're an okay team.
Yeah.
They're what we thought would be a dynasty is not. And this year is just kind of coasting along. They're going to be there at the end of the year. We'll see where they're at. But the Panthers are just fun. I'm going with fun.
Yeah, and it's one of those teams, too, where the Seahawks have had quite a bit more injury issues than the Carolina Panthers have had.
They've been really unlucky.
And, it's an interesting matchup, too, when you have these 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for Russell Wilson, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions for Cam Newton. Quarterbacks that are not making mistakes.
Yeah.
And I like it, like to see it. But one team that doesn't make mistakes for sure, the claw up Carolina Panthers, because they're 5-0 at home.
There you go.
So, going to claw up, of course. What else am I going to do? Now, let's talk about the Oakland Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens. Should be an easy one again, Ravens.
I just locked that one in.
Yep.
Let's move on.
All right, now another one that should be easy. The Arizona Cardinals are going to go play the L.A., not Rams, Chargers on this one. So
this is a pretty close one, man.
Yeah.
Like those Cardinals, they know how to play football.
Do they?
I think I've seen them line up in formation correctly a couple of times.
They are a 7% chance to win this game.
Whew.
That is rough.
Whew. Philip Rivers has more kids than the Cardinals have percentage to win the game.
Yeah?
That tells you something.
That's impressive. The spread, if you care about that, is 12.5.
I'm going with the Bolo. Keep it classy.
Good choice. Yeah, obviously the Chargers are who I'm going to go with as well. Now we got the Pittsburgh Steelers with their comeback win going to Denver to play the Broncos. This one's a little tough, I think.
hate the Steelers because they win games they have no right to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing so well, of course, without having their running back. I mean, James Conner's been an excellent replacement, but like, you shouldn't be this good. Their record shouldn't look this good. And that's why I'm going Broncos. I think the Broncos defense holds up better, and I think they get enough done offensively. Get it done. They get the job done. They're going to hold the Steelers in check.
Yeah, I just can't really trust Case Keenum to be more than just somewhat competent.
I feel like he's always got a chance in a game, though. Like, he's one of those guys who it's always like, you guys are going to get the ball back with about 4:10 left on the clock, and if he drives you down there, you got a chance in this game.
Yeah, but he's almost more likely to throw an interception than he is a touchdown. 11 and 10.
Not his hottest year passing.
Philip Lindsay, I mean, who doesn't love him?
Workhorse.
The undrafted running back, still living with his parents, which is a fun one.
I love it.
With his, $400,000 NFL salary.
Pay the man.
But, I got to go with the Steelers on this one. I mean, they're just a better team. You look at the quarterbacks, you look at the wide receivers, you look at the...
They make every mistake in the world, and they get away with it. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to go with the away team on this one. Now we got the Miami Dolphins going to the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know. This one's kind of be a surprise type of matchup. I think it'll be surprising to people of being closer than they think.
Is that because Tannehill's back?
It should be. I mean, if Tannehill's going to play, Tannehill's got to prove that he can go out there and be the quarterback the Dolphins want him to be. And they've struggled this year, 1-4 when they're away. That is not good at all. But, Tannehill's got to come out and he's got to show that, hey, you don't need to draft a quarterback because
try to secure his job a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton have been lighting it up. I'm going to go with a hot team right now and pick the Colts.
Yeah, and you should. And I do think the Colts are going to win, so I will pick the Colts.
But I think
it's going to be close.
Okay.
It'll be closer than people expect.
Yeah.
The spread is by 8. So
I could see it being closer than that, yeah.
I hope so. Now we got one game that nobody wants to talk about. It's the Green Bay Packers going to Minnesota to play the Vikings.
Basically the loser bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tie, right? Tie 0-0 tie.
I mean, they tie because the Packers have a tie on their record, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, has there ever been a team with 2 ties at the end of the year?
I'm sure there has. There's got to have been someone who had 2 ties.
I don't know. That's a pretty rare stat. We'll have to have our stat guy look it up.
This was the tie.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm
against the
sorry.
Vikings, 29-29.
Double tie. You're right. Let's go double tie.
Now that I doubt has happened. A team tied the same team
twice in a season.
That would be impressive. I'm gonna go with a 2-2 tie. Both teams get a safety. It's going to be great.
I begrudgingly will take the Packers to win this game.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers does Aaron Rodgers things. As long as his team doesn't lose the ball or doesn't lose the game for him, he'll be Aaron Rodgers and they'll win the game.
Yeah, I mean, the
Vikings just looked unimpressive last week.
They did.
I mean, it's easy to do when you're going up against the best team in the league in the Bears, but
yeah, and Super Bowl champions, Chicago Bears. But it's difficult because you look at the Packers. They need to win games because they want to get into the playoffs, and they've got an easier schedule than many teams going in there with the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Jets. And then they got a couple divisional games in there too. So they really need to get this done. I don't really think that they will, though. I think that the Vikings, who came back and didn't get it done. They had a late
resurgence.
But they did start to come back. So I do think that they can beat the Green Bay Packers, who are a much lesser team than the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
At least this year. Now we got the Monday night matchup, Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. I don't know. I feel like this is a kind of easy one to call.
Are you saying it's easy because the Texans are a better football team across the board than the Titans are?
Yeah, because they're on
Marcus
a 7-game win streak.
Say, the Texans are hot and the Titans are not, and it's just that easy.
Yeah, exactly. And Marcus Mariota...
He's got one of the weirdest injuries I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who gets injured quite a bit now.
The lack of feeling in his hand is just bizarre. And as a quarterback, obviously, it's going to cause problems. But he's been working with it all year. He's been getting better.
Yeah.
But it's just the Texans are a complete defense, and they are just smothering. And their offensive. They have some offensive explosion out there.
Yeah, they got a good quarterback out there for sure with Deshaun Watson, too. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans as well. Kansas City and the LA Rams are not playing this week. I think they need a little bit of time to rest those shoulders after last night.
Seriously.
Which was an insane game. I mean, a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, who he lost, but had 5 turnovers, but 6 touchdowns. That fact is still blowing my mind. Great one in that game with 2 young quarterbacks who are potentially going to be the next era of great quarterbacks. But thank you for listening to the Onside Kick. And I say listening because if you're watching on YouTube, you've been watching our logo for a little bit.
It's a pretty great logo, at least.
Yeah, camera battery apparently decided to die in the middle of this episode, in this segment. But thank you guys for listening. Of course, you can hit the like button, hit the sub button on YouTube. If you're listening to us on iTunes, or even just like to go onto iTunes and rate podcasts, you can do that by giving us hopefully a 5-star. If you want to give us a 4 or a 3, I guess I understand.
Whatever you think we deserve.
Yeah. And we deserve a 5 in my personal opinion. Maybe it's because I'm on this. But also head to patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast to give us anything if you think we're worth it every month, but $10 will get you on the show. MostValuablePodcast.com. You can get yourself a t-shirt, but make sure you check out the rest of the podcasts on Most Valuable Podcast. We got football, we got college sports. There's a ton of stuff for you to check out, so make sure you do it. But we will see you next week after we're all full of turkey and still eating leftover turkey. We'll see you next week.
I don't got leftover turkey by Monday next week.
Well, we have a lot. We make a turkey and pork shoulder, so there's a lot of leftover stuff.
I like the wild card pork shoulder.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It really is.
Must be.
We'll see you for week 13 here on the Onside Kick. Have a great Thanksgiving.